Alrighty. Well, where we left off is the party, of course, was heading back after defeating the orcs of the Wyvern Tor, and they got ambushed by a patrol of goblins, and they captured one after taking care of the rest. And that's where we are. You guys have a goblin that is asleep, yet tied up.
Nadia's already of the opinion that we should just, off him. She's not much for questioning critters, so she'll leave that kind of stuff to Dalen or Bogner or Evender. Tertius is a little off-putting just in his visual aspect.
Right. So you guys remember a couple things. You know that there are supposedly goblins at Craigma Castle, and you don't know where that is.
That was in my notes.
Yeah, I'm looking through the notes right now, actually.
Oh, and we cut off the ogre's head and a goblin, an orc head to bring back to the town master, by the way.
Yep.
Okay. So there was the guy who was captured in that old manor, and he told us something, but then he escaped, or at least I think he did. There was somebody who said, "Go ahead."
He escaped. But he didn't really tell us about anything outside of the manor. He told us about some other places inside, and then we left him tied up. But he chewed his way through his bonds and got out.
Okay, was there another guy we captured later who said that they didn't know much about the place with the goblins, but we should catch one near that area and ask them?
Yeah, that was the wizard that we fought all the zombies with.
Oh, right. Okay. So yeah, we'll want to wake this guy up, and basically, I want to ask him where is it Craigma Castle? Where that is? How many goblins are there? As if he knows the answer. I'm not going to just say, "What do you know about it?" Just kind of go into it. Wait, as you're waking him up, asking him, "So where is it? How many goblins are there? What's it like?" Those kind of things.
Okay.
And I guess I'm using orc because I don't speak goblin.
Okay. So you kind of shake him awake or slap him awake, and he kind of blinks and kind of struggles to move, and he realizes he's tied, and looks all around and notices that he's surrounded and on the ground. When he fell asleep, there was as many of them as there were of you, and now there's just him. So, yeah, he's unhappy, and you're talking to him in Orcish, and he just kind of looks at you, gibbers something back in Goblin.
I'll tell him to speak orc or common.
You say that in Orc, or you say that in Common?
I'll say it in orc, and then we'll repeat it in common.
Okay, so once you start, he does understand some Common. Yes, I speak Common. What do you want?
All right, so I'll repeat my questions, asking as if I'm assuming he's been there, and about where's the castle, how many goblins, what other kind of creatures hang out or are around there. So I'm going to keep it specific questions, not general questions, even though me personally, I'll probably come up say something general.
Okay. Kind of looks around like he doesn't want to say anything, but what's he gonna do at this point? cracked my castle. It, north of Phandalin, across the Triborg Trail, into the woods there. Maybe, mm, maybe a day and a half. Into the Neverwinter Wood. Um, I could show you. You want me to guide you?
No, we don't trust you to guide us.
Mm, probably smart. I don't want to go back there anyway.
Why don't you want to go back there?
Because not run by goblins.
Who runs it?
By a chiefman. King Groll.
Did he say chieftain or
Mhm.
chiefman?
Chief Tan. King Groll. Grol.
Uh, is Kingrel an orc? Is he an ogre? Is he something else?
Let's see. Hmm. He like let's say common uh insect bear. Um. Um. Bug dog. I I don't know. He's big.
He's kind of like one of those guys from Where the Wild Things Grow. Or whatever that book was. How many goblins are left up there?
Mm. He obviously has to think about this. Oh, more than two hands.
Does he have the same number of fingers in his hands that we do?
I think so.
Just random thought that came to mind. So how do the goblins get in and out of the castle when they're trying to avoid the other creatures?
Oh, we know avoid other creatures. We control castle. Walk right in.
I thought you said the goblins weren't in control anymore.
Oh yeah, we know in control. King Roland troll in control.
Because I've noticed that a lot of other creatures tend to pick on the goblins, and sometimes the goblins need a way to avoid being seen by some of those larger creatures when they're being cruel. Not sure how to say it, but I'm going to try to plan a sympathy on that.
Give me a charisma check.
Because I know Gamlin is a higher charisma than I do.
He says, well, no real place for us to. You mean sneak in? there are places maybe you could climb that most don't go in, but not good, treacherous climb.
Nadia just kind of giggles under her breath.
Yeah, so I'll ask for a little more detail. Where is that treacherous climb?
Oh, north side. You see crumbled tower.
All right. I have no further questions, so I'm going to turn them over to Bogner.
Well, you're Bogner.
Yeah, I know. I was checking his alignment. He's chaotic neutral. So I think Bogner is quickly going to just kind of start questioning him with his, I don't know, would he want to dirty up the hammer? Probably. Just to clean it anyway. So Bogner is going, what's the game where you have you're trying to hit something with a hammer and knock the thing up into the bell? Bogner's going to play that game with the goblin.
Oh, the strength bell thing?
Right. So I assume that's a attack roll, but I don't know if I add any bonuses to it.
All right, 1 second. Okay, so he's what's he gonna? Is he just trying to hit this goblin on the leg or the foot or
Kind of more on the head.
on? Yeah, you can just roll a regular attack. Yeah, that hits.
That doesn't just hit. That should have been one of advantage as well because he's tied up. But
All right, so you basically Bogner brings the hammer down on top of the goblin and just one swipe just lays the goblin out. He's not in a good way.
I just realized he probably got some blood on my shoes too.
Nadia looks on with approval.
Evander was, let's see. Yeah, Evander was gonna say something, but the hammer blow comes down and he's like, well, probably would have let him go, but nah, he told us what we need. So it doesn't sound like anybody else is going to make a move to save him, so the goblin passes.
Bogner might have let him go if he missed.
So I'm just adding a few things to the Cragmaw Castle. So what side did you say was the crumbling tower? No. North.
Yeah, I said on the northern side. He says it's a treacherous climb.
And then additionally, he said it was how many days north of Phandalin?
He said a day or day and a half.
Well, he said a day and a half into the woods.
Yeah, into Neverwood. Was it Neverwinter Woods?
Yep. You guys are probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you're like a week out from Phandalin following the trail. So by the time you get north of Phandalin on the trail, you're probably, let's see, let me do this. Let me push this map out. And so you can see that you guys are in the yellow circle just to the west of the mountainous areas, just south of the Tribord Trail. It's that yellow circle there. And Phandalin is all the way down here. So he says that the castle is north of Phandalin, about a day and a half into the woods.
Is the plan still to, or should the plan still be to head back to Phandalin, maybe collect a bounty on the ogre and stuff, pick up our armor, anything else? Or should we head to the castle?
We definitely want to go back first. We want to go back to Phandalin. We want to at least turn in the ogre head, the orc head, collect thoughts, tell them about the old owl well, all kinds of stuff like that.
Okay. Then that's what we will do.
All right, I just put a campfire token on the map to kind of show where you guys are. Okay, so you guys want to head back to Phandalin then?
Yes.
Yeah, we're continuing our journey back there.
Okay. Well, let's see. Let's go to the order. We'll say you guys finished this night's rest without any issues. So let me give you guys a long rest. All right. And let's go left to right up top. So Tertius, give me a D20 roll.
Oh, you said Tertius. Sorry.
Yes.
Just, okay, so.
Yeah, just a D20.
Yeah, just a D20.
Well, I rolled it as Nadia, but. Okay.
That's fine. All right, so that's for the day's travel. For the nighttime, Tertius, go. We'll have you roll 1 day and 1 night each. So go ahead and roll again, or Nadia can roll again. I don't care.
Nope, I figured it out. I know how to get each one to roll up by themselves.
Yeah, just click on the portrait up top.
Yep. Top.
Yeah.
All right. Jeff, go ahead and I assume you guys are moving straight to the trail, so you can move as quickly as you can after that.
Yes.
Okay. So Jeff, go ahead and give me a roll, a D20 roll. All right. Then give me a nighttime D20 roll. Okay. Now you guys move a little bit faster. All right, Jerry, give me another couple of rolls. One for the day's travel. Okay. And then the nighttime travel. All right. So because all trails seem to look the same, we're just going to use the same map. Your traveling order has Bogner typically up front.
Well, I'm ranging out ahead usually.
Okay, well that's not what the marching order says, so we can change that.
Well, where does the marching order say?
It's in the party sheet under order. So if you guys want to modify that, we can do that. Maybe that was just marching order when you're in the caves.
So, well, I mean, is this a pretty wide open area? There's not a lot of foliage this side. It's a pretty defined trail.
It's mixed. I mean, the trail's fairly defined, yes, but it's just kind of like just the same map that that you guys were on. Here, I'll pass it back. So you're kind of like right here. I mean, it's the same kind of thing. After a while, a lot of the trail parts look very similar.
Yeah, so I mean, if we're in a cave or anything, that's definitely the marching order that we've got. But when we've been wandering,
Okay, make adjustments. Show me how you like to be.
Well, I don't know where Dalen would be, but I mean, Nadia is not necessarily in a particular formation. She's always wandering out in front, ranging. That's what we've been talking. That's how we've had it running the whole time.
We're
So
on
I mean, I don't know.
horses, right?
I don't what. What'd you say, Jeff?
We're on horses out on here, aren't we?
Yes.
Yeah, you guys are on horses. Nadia, typically, if I'm ranging, I'm off of my horse and on foot.
And I can't remember, did we have a pack horse or anything, or we just have our horses at this point?
We have our horses, and then Evander has Nadia's horse for when she does decide to ride. But that's why I was asking because Jim, if there's not a lot of foliage, then Nadia would be riding. But if there's a lot of, if there's places where people hide, so that's where now she gets off and she's ranging ahead.
Yeah, no, you're on the trail, so not a lot of foliage. It's not dense wood. I mean,
So in
it's
that
just
case,
a
she'd be
lawless trail.
Right. So in that case, she would be riding a horse with that initial thing. But if there's foliage around, it's kind of a less defined trail. She's definitely not on her horse, and she's out ahead. So since you said that this is the way that is, Bogner would be out in front with Dalen and me behind, just like it was initially. So that would be the formation if we're on a good, pretty defined trail, not a lot of places for things to hide.
Okay. All right. So I've got you guys on the map, so on the bottom right. So go ahead and arrange yourselves how you'd like to be roughly.
Right. Are you talking about in the party sheet or what map?
No, in the campsite.
Oh, I still have the old campsite map up.
Same
so I
one.
don't see
We're just going to reuse that.
Oh, I had it zoomed into where we were before.
Yeah, just scroll down. Straight down.
All right. Well, I'm not going to be on the other side of the fence. I'll be on the fence, there with them. I think that probably looks. Dalen, you're probably going to be in a little bit closer to where Tertius is. Tertius is probably going to be just a little bit behind us. So it'll be more like that. Because right now, Dalen, you're going to run into those rocks. That's why I said you'd probably be moving a little bit more north.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I'd go in or out, depending on
Okay.
how tall they are and how well I can see over them.
Okay. So something like that, Jimmy.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, let's see here. move my map around. Sometimes it doesn't behave. Okay. So let's go ahead and just so we can kind of keep track of spacing and everything, I'll just lock tokens. Go ahead and move 30 feet down the trail, and we'll just start from left to right on the map. So it'll be Bogner, then Dalen, then Nadia, then Tertius, and then Evander.
So Bogner, yep.
But if we're mounted, is it really 30 feet?
We're not galloping or anything. It would be just normal pace.
Okay, I just wasn't. I don't know what normal horse pace is considered. 30 is fine.
I don't know either.
60 actually. So we can go 60 if you'd like.
We run at a map if we do that.
All right, Dalen's next.
So it's your choice if you're doing a leisurely trot, or if you're really just kind of moving to make to travel, not quickly, but just travel. Right?
Are you gonna move Nadia? Or you're rolling, okay.
All right. We'll go ahead and go again.
Bogner.
Yeah, leave the map after 25.
You've got you've got it too small. Expand to the full size.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it just popped up at whatever size it was, and since I hadn't had it up at least anytime recently.
And then the gold clover in the bottom right, you can left click hold and drag to pan around on the map. Yeah, you got over 100 feet of map to your left here.
Yeah, I had it all the way on the left of my screen, and it doesn't let you grow it from the right side. So I could drag down and I can drag left, but I can't drag right. Actually, no, other way around. I can drag right, I can drag down, I can't drag left to make it bigger.
So do you need to make it bigger?
Oh, I did. I just moved the map and was able to do it.
Okay.
It was just interesting.
All right. All right, so as you guys get into this position, go ahead, Nadia, go ahead and make moves for those two. And Evander will come down the middle of the trail behind you. Okay, as you get to here, Bogner sits there, and I think I hear something. Not sure what it is, though. Nadia, give me a nature check, since your perception's better.
Nature.
Okay. You definitely hear something, but you're not sure what it is. I mean, there's some rustling and snapping, maybe. Not entirely sure. Let me see what you're. Give me an active perception roll, Nadia. Let me see if you can gauge direction. Oh yeah. Um, it's coming from this way. The noise, whatever it is.
All right. Well, Nadia will actually go ahead and jump down off her horse. Do we need
Okay.
to roll initiative now, or do we need to?
So you rein in and stop. Yeah,
Well,
let's.
I'm gonna say, hey, there's something over there by the, that big boulder. So I'm gonna, as I
Yep.
do,
Roll
if I
initiative.
hear it and I know which direction, I'm gonna do that.
So that way we can just have kind of an order of stuff.
I have the initiative.
Yeah, that's pretty damn good.
Hell, Tertius had a good roll too.
So we'll get Dalen and Bogner's initiative here.
All right, let me one moment. I gotta respond to something here on work.
Obviously, Dalen and Bogner's initiative followed my speediness and rolling.
You're not procrastinating. You just rolled a 1 for initiative personally. All right, so Nadia reins up, hops off her horse. Bogner, Dalen. Evander stays on his horse because he's not sure what's going on yet.
Well, and Tertius stays on his horse. So I yell back. I hear, it's that direction, and we hear, what you said we hear. Snapping, maybe some growling, and so Tertius will.
Tertius can give me a perception roll now that you've pointed it out.
Okay.
And he says, I don't know. I don't hear anything. And you realize that, yeah, it's gone quiet.
Okay. Well, Tertius will have his moonbeam ready as a held action. I don't know if we're doing actions yet, but as we pull up, he's thinking about things he wants to do. So
Okay.
So Bogner is going to get off his horse because I don't know that I'm going to trust. I don't think he would trust his horse if it's an animal of some sort. But if I'm on my, because I have that steed associated with the tattoo, I mean, I guess I've always kind of hadn't really thought about whether I regularly use that as my steed instead of another one. Although I think I kind of.
You actually haven't been. Just as a random
last time
note.
we talked about it, we got it, so that's why I hadn't really thought about it.
Just you've never used it to date, and you were provided these steeds, so you just kind of took them.
So from that perspective, I don't think I trust the steed if it's going to be an animal either, so I will dismount as well.
Yeah, you guys are
You
on
get
riding horses, and they're,
there.
varied degrees between the old nag that just follows the tail in front of it to, kind of a, like the best steed that you have is probably a 7-year-old, you know, in his prime or just past his prime, decent horse, but not wonderful. You definitely wouldn't trust any of these animals in a fight.
Yeah, so I'm just I'll get off because even if the horse got me to the fight, I wouldn't want it to then throw me into the fight.
Okay.
Okay, so Tertius and Evander are staying on their mounts, but
Mounts, but
the fighter types have gotten off. Okay.
Yeah. All right. So should we? So we've gotten off. We hear it's silent. Initially knew that it was over towards the boulder. Anything else?
That's all you know. You're up, Nadia.
How high is the boulder?
It's kind of large. 8 to 10 feet. It's a good sized rock.
I'm gonna move to there,
All right.
and then I'm going to hold an attack. So I've got my staff of defense ready and an unarmed, attack. I don't know if I can have both of those or not, like my normal attack would be, but
Well,
I'm definitely ready.
your
to
attack
you're
action.
just
You're
attack
just going to
melee.
hold an attack action. Yeah.
Melee specifically.
Okay. So if something gets in melee range, you'll smack it. Yeah, I don't think you get a bonus action on a held action. You just get your attack.
That's fine. That's why I was mentioning it. So.
Yep. All right.
And
All
then
right.
Pass your turn.
Tertius.
Pass your
Tertius, after we talked about the whole animal thing, Tertius will also get off of his horse. I don't want to risk casting a spell above this guy's head and having him freak out and throw me.
Okay.
Okay.
Even though he's probably the best
Yeah, he's
person
probably the best
with animals with
person
you guys.
Animals with you guys.
Yes, but still, it's not a trained horse, and
Yeah.
I'm going to move over here, and I'm holding Moonbeam.
Okay, so you're gonna your action is to cast a spell at something that's aggressive or
Yes.
okay. Evander is just like, what's going on? Why are we getting off our horses? Oh no,
I
you've
know
already
that-
called out. That's right. He goes,
Yeah.
okay. So he says, there's something's here. Hmm. He says, okay. He gives Bogner some bardic inspiration. Lips out his lute and
I love the bardic inspiration as deliverance.
right? And he actually stays mounted, but he's got his hand crossbow ready. All right, Bogner. He's been inspired.
Wagner's going to head right here. And ready his Warhammer.
Oh, wow.
And
Okay.
make a
Okay.
shield.
Go ahead and finish your turn. And I'm assuming Dalen activates his tattoo like all the time. So
Yeah, that's one of those things that's never actually disappeared. I don't. The long rest doesn't clear it or make me need to reactivate it or whatever. I'm gonna move up there. Actually, it's supposed to be adjacent to Bogner. I'm not sure if that's far enough. That's it.
okay. I actually changed your tattoo to last 1 day, so I'm kind of curious to see if it'll go away when I apply a long rest.
Okay.
I'm curious. Okay, so he moves up. Same
And,
thing.
yeah, readying my sword. Actually, I might. I think. Well, if I ready a javelin, the next round I'm late anyway. Does that mean on the next round I could actually throw it if somebody comes out, or
So if
is
you
it
have a held
restart?
action, right, with a javelin, let's say you're going to throw a javelin as soon as you see something, right? Um, even if it's not your turn, you've got that held action. So you'd throw that javelin, and then the next turn you'd come up to, and then you'd be free to move again or pull out your sword or whatever.
All right, I'm gonna hold action with it. I'll have a javelin ready if we need it. If I need it.
Okay. All right. Nadia's up. For anybody watching, the owlbear rolled
Going up the
a
boulder.
21 for
And
its
I'm
stealth
looking
check.
for whatever we heard.
Okay. Um, let's see. So, yeah, you get to the top. That's probably your full movement. Give me a perception check. Okay. You look around, and you actually, surprisingly, there must be like an overhang on this rock because you see this large creature kind of nestled in between this bush and up against this rock, pretty well hidden. I mean, your eagle eyes seem to catch it, I guess, just as it moved. But you see it; it's right there.
Do I know what it is, or is it too
Give me a nature
obscure?
check. Oh yeah, you've seen these things before. It's an owl bear.
Now my attacks are gonna suck anus.
They're known for being ferocious, stubborn, very ill-tempered. Um, they're they're a high-level predator, um, and a lot of travelers say and trappers and hunters say there's very little things that you would fear more than a hungry owlbear. And
Okay.
if an owlbear is hungry, there's not much it fears.
So Nadia, upon seeing this, will yell back at the others, "Owlbear!" and I will ready. Um, I'll hold my attack.
So that's what those look like. So let give me a nature check by everybody else. So see if anybody else knows what an owlbear is. All right, Evander does, being a bard. I guess it makes sense. Uh, Dalen and Tertius, no. Bogner, no. You guys aren't really sure what an owlbear is.
I'm ready. I've got my attack held.
So my question is, who?
Actually, wait before I do that. So, Jim, I kind of wasn't thinking.
Hmm.
So, um, is it within a bow, or is it? I mean, I'm gonna have a. Can I attack with a bow? Will it be a disadvantage?
-2. It's got some partial cover.
Okay, so can you put it back to me and let me shoot it with an arrow?
Sure.
More interesting question is, can it climb up to you?
Don't know.
Well, I have to worry about that when that happens.
Yep.
Actually, I'm only 5 feet away, but how high is this rock?
8 to 10. You're beyond melee range. You'd have to climb down, or it would have to climb up.
I wanted to make sure.
Yep. Good question.
Ooh, told you.
So, you climbed up and over. It actually sees you, seeing it. How's that work? You see it, seeing you, seeing it, kind of thing. And you raise your bow, and it must have dealt with hunters before, because it kind of ducks underneath the overhang, and as it hears the twang and the click of the bolt ricocheting off or your short bow arrow, I should say, ricocheting off the rock.
All right, now I'm done.
Okay. Let's see. Does the owlbear want to climb? Well, we'll see. Okay. Yeah, he does. He kind of moves around. Let's see, let's redo this. So he kind of moves around to a less steep part without the overhang and climbs up on top. So let's see. So you've already done your arrow shot. And he is going to come after you. So first thing it comes across is a claw swipe. Oof, and he hits. For some pretty hefty damage. Then he comes down with a bite with its beak. Jeez. And he takes a chunk out of, I don't know, pick a body limb, arm or leg. But he's done.
Tertius.
He can see that, so if he still had his, I'd say he can see that. So if he wants to get his held action off, he can do that first if it's in range. What's a moonbeam's range?
Right now.
Okay. I think it's like
120
120
feet.
Yeah. Okay. So go ahead and do the moonbeam. Is it an attack or is it a save? What is it?
Save.
Okay. Apply the save and he fails.
Okay, so that's one of my second spell slots.
Okay.
And then since I hit him the first time, I'm gonna go for it again. Or do I not get? Since I held that, do I get to go again or no?
Yeah. So that was your held action. When it climbed up there, you blasted with that. Now it's your turn.
I'm gonna do the same thing.
That time he succeeds. But he still gets half damage, I believe.
Yeah. I don't know why changed.
Oh, I was doing a quick look through on a couple things. Probably me poking around. Sorry about that.
Yeah, now I can't find my.
Oh, what do you mean you can't
Right.
find?
What do you mean you can't find?
I can't find. I mean, I found Moonbeam, but I can't find the ones that I just actually have memorized.
Oh, let's change your prep to combat.
My mode is combat.
Did you run out of second level? Did you check it first?
Check it first.
I checked it. Yes.
Yeah, so check it after you use it because it takes it away.
Because it takes it away.
So I unchecked it, so now you can find it. So he
Oh, I
already.
had already
So
saved.
he already.
Can you remove that? Sorry.
That's okay. Roll damage,
That's
okay.
and I'll just affect half. Okay, so he'll take 8 less than that.
Okay.
8, so that's 15. Okay. All right. He's out of range. So Evander's going to hop off his steed. And he's going to run up to here. And seeing that you just took a beating, he's going to give you a healing word at second level. And then as his action, he's going to do a vicious mockery on the owlbear. And it fails. So a little bit of, max damage for that. Outstanding. But more importantly, disadvantage to attack. And he's done.
All right, so is the side that I did that path up short enough I can actually climb up there?
Give me an athletics check to see if you can get up there. And that'll be your full, well, let's see, 10 feet. So that's really 20. Bogner's distance is what, 25?
25.
Yes. So he'd really only get halfway up. Yeah, to like right there. But give me an athletics check, see if you even get up there.
All right. I might want to adjust the route slightly, but
Okay, start over if you want. That's fine.
well, I'm trying to. It's not.
Just pick up your Bogner token and move him and restart him.
Oh, okay. Got it. Oh no, it's giving me like 50. It's not like doing my first path.
Okay, so I just erased it.
Except you didn't.
Okay. So just grab your Bogner token, move him off of where he is and back on.
If I grab the Bogner token, it grabs the path.
All right, there we
All
go.
right, there we go.
Yeah, so I think he got, what, 10 feet to get to the rock? Okay. And then you're going to climb 10 feet, so that would be 20, which you don't have enough to get there. That would be 30 feet. So you could only get halfway up. So give me an athletics check.
So, all right, that one gets me. I mean, 15 gives me. I don't know.
Well, climbing is twice your rate. So,
Right, I know.
Right. So 10 to get there, and then you've got 15 left, so 7.5 feet.
It's halfway
So,
between where I am and the previous.
I'd say you can take a swing at him, but you're still technically half climbing, so I'd give you disadvantage. Okay.
That'd be fine. I'll take a disadvantage swing at him.
So I get you there. So,
Or I can just. Because that's not close enough to attack, is it?
yeah, it is, but disadvantage to attack.
Okay. Yeah, I'll do that.
Oof. Okay.
All right. Maybe I shouldn't have done
You
that.
you fumble and almost drop your hammer, but at the last minute you jam the pommel of your hammer, which has just a little bit of a spike, and that keeps you on the rock face and keeps you from not. Actually, roll me an athletics check. I want to see something here.
I was waiting for that. Waiting for the athletics check.
All right, yeah. So you maintain your grip on your hammer, and you maintain your grip on the rock.
And I think,
That's all you can do.
yeah, unless I did an action surge, but I'm not.
That's true. I would definitely I would allow you to do an action surge if you wanted, but at this
And I
point, a
think
bonus action, you're just kind of trying to hold on.
I'm, yeah, I'm still disadvantaged from if I do the action surge, so I'm gonna wait.
Okay. So then Dalen's up now.
And I have the same issue.
Yeah, but you have the gloves of swimming and climbing, so at least you shouldn't have to roll in athletics.
No, I
you
just
end
get
up losing
like
it.
+6 to my athletics check for that, or +5.
Yeah, it just
Okay.
makes it easier. It's not a
You
density.
had a held action as well, though, Jeff. You
Oh wait,
should be
that's
able
right.
to toss-
Yeah, but before I move, can I throw the javelin? Is he visible or
No, no. I'm gonna say
No.
that Nadia's kind of on the peak. He's kind of on a lower section on the other side.
all right? No biggie. I'm gonna go there. Then I'm gonna go here, and I will give Nadia.
Okay, well, give me an athletics check with +5. Let's see if you make it up. Yep. God, you guys are rolling skills really well. Of course, +5 helps.
Attacks, not so much.
I'm gonna. I'm gonna. Where is it?
You're gonna lay on hands.
Yeah, lay in hands. I could do. Heck, I could do all 14, or should I just do 10 of it?
Do whatever makes sense for you. If you need to hold on to it, remember we're on a travel thing right now, so I mean,
Yeah, I'll use all of it. I mean, 1 point. I'll let Evander make up that 1 point somewhere. I just have to find out where that one is.
Okay, so you're going to use 14 out of your pool of 15?
Yeah.
Okay, so go ahead and just mark it off, and then,
I'm going to mark all 3, but I do have 1 point left if I need it.
okay. I'll just remove the wounds. Okay.
And that's, oh, is it it's a bonus action to at least mark this guy. I should remember how to do it again. The
Vow of enmity or something?
Yeah, Vow of Enmity. So I shift drag the effect on top of him.
Hold shift and then drag the effect on top of him. Yep. Very nice.
Okay.
And I've since learned that the channeled divinities are just like clerics. You only have one per long rest.
Okay.
So go ahead and
That's
check your vow of enmity off. All right. All right, Nadia.
staff of defense.
You hit. Very nice.
Do my unarmed attack.
Still hit. And thump it pretty good in its hide.
And now I don't know how pissed off it is going to be at me or not.
Well, it successfully clawed and bit you before, and now you've clubbed it and kicked it. So
I'm hoping that I can piss it off enough to try to chase me. So I'm going to do a step of the wind.
okay, that gives you what, a disengage?
Rage.
I can disengage as a bonus action,
Okay.
and I am going to head back down out of its range.
Okay.
Although I don't know how far I got to go down 10 feet. So 35 is the most I could move from a pure distance perspective, right?
So it's 10.
So it's 10.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just going to disengage and I'm going to move back out here so he can't get an attack of opportunity.
All right.
And I'm hoping
Well,
he's going to try to
that,
chase me.
let me look at that. Is that a bonus action to do that, or no?
No.
I thought it was.
No,
As a
it's
bonus action.
but you did it. Okay, so we'll take away your unarmed attack of 5 damage. Right? Or you don't have an extra attack yet, do you? No. So
I don't know because so here's what confuses me then.
okay.
Because you've let me go ahead and have my staff of defense and my unarmed attack every single time without doing a flurry of blows.
Yes, because as a bonus action, as a monk, as a bonus action, if you do a melee attack with a monk weapon, which is your hands or your staff, you can then use a bonus action to do an unarmed attack. Step of the Wind requires you to, as a bonus action, disengage or dash.
But then you've also allowed me to do a flurry of blows on top of that.
So a flurry of blows allows you to get another unarmed attack as a part of your bonus action, effectively giving you 2 unarmed attacks as your bonus action.
As your bonus.
Okay. Okay, so take the other 5 away.
Okay.
And I'm trying to get him to chase me. I want these other 2 guys to get some attacks of opportunity if they can.
Okay. Let's see. Give me an intimidation roll. Give me an intimidation check. Yeah. All right. Let me.
Again, I'm rolling skills so well, but attacks not so much.
Okay. Well, you hit with both of your attacks, even the one we retconned out. But okay. So you smack it over the head and kind of jab it in its mouth or whatever, and get his attention. Yell at it, and then hop off and run away. And yeah, he's gonna follow you. So he's gonna barrel his way through here. Bogner and Dalon, I need each of you to give me an athletics check.
Do I get to use the gloves of climbing on this one, or is it without that? Because I'm not really climbing, am I?
Nope, you're not really climbing. What you're trying to do is
Avoid its rush.
yeah,
right?
avoid getting pitched off the side. Okay. So you guys do. You avoid getting pitched off the side. It's going to attempt to jump down.
Well, don't they get attacks of opportunity before it tries to do that?
Actually, as it jumps off, they'll get attacks of opportunity.
Okay.
So it jumps down to there. So you guys get your opportunity attacks. Except for Bogner, he's still clinging to the rock. So he doesn't get pushed off, but I took his reaction away since he's holding onto that rock basically, since he rolled that 1. Okay, you got advantage. Nice.
Oh, shoot. Grab the wrong one.
That's right. You still hit, so go ahead and roll damage. Very nice. And the owlbear lands on the ground, kind of stumbles, and its face kind of digs into the ground. And let's see, that was 20. So then it just stands up and kind of shakes and growls. But it's firmly focused on you, Nadia.
I do the take the L dance,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which you and Jeff should both get, having boys that are playing Fortnite.
My kids don't actually.
Mine don't either. I actually got Benjamin into Baldur's Gate a couple weeks ago.
Nice.
I just played all of Baldur's Gate 2, and I'm playing Icewind Dale right now.
Yeah, Benjamin is a little farther into Baldur's Gate than I am because I'm again trying to clear out every region as I level up.
Yeah.
Well, I'm, obviously playing while I'm working. So right now I'm in a lot of the hurry up and wait kind of stuff. So
Yeah, I've had a few times at work where it's like, man, I wish I was at home. I could play this.
All right, Tertius, it's your turn. You still got Moonbeam active.
Well, but Moonbeam, I've already used both of my second level spells.
Oh, no. So Moonbeam, if you read it, where are you, Tertius? It's a concentration spell, right? I believe it lasts.
Oh,
for
so I didn't have to do. I didn't have to do that. Okay.
Right. That's why.
So
That's
my
why I said
second-
uncheck it.
That's why.
Got you. I'm sorry. I didn't realize it's kind of like Flaming Sphere. All right. Well, then I'll Moonbeam them again. Oh, he saved. But he took a shit ton of damage.
Yeah, I did.
Too bad he saved. That would have been a great move. Now, if this is concentration, am I still able to then do my, like, produce flame, or no? Because I mean, with the sphere, I was able to. Or is that my
Yes.
whole?
No. Yeah, you can do a produce flame. Absolutely. Well, let's read it. Does it say as an action to use it or as a bonus action?
Till the spell ends, dim light filters fills the cylinder.
No. Yeah.
Creature enters the spell's area for the first time. It's engulfed.
It's towards the end there. Yeah, on each of your turns after you cast it, you can use an action to move the beam in any
All
direction.
right. Well, so then that was my action. Okay. So I am done.
All right. All right, so I've put a moonbeam effect on you, and duration now 7. All right, Evander. He sees that owlbear. Nadia got a great heal, ran off. He's gonna bow shot it. And he's gonna hit. And then he's gonna give some bardic inspiration to Bogner. Because Bogner might need it since he's clinging to the cliffside. All right, Bogner. You just climbed up here. Now the owlbear jumped down.
but that's all I can hear is Benny Hill music now.
The good thing is you're only 5 feet off the ground, so if you want to just drop down, you can drop down, no problem.
Sorry, had to do it.
Oldie but a goodie. All right. So are you climbing up, or are you climbing it sideways, or what are you doing?
Um,
Because it might be better just for you to drop to the ground
yeah,
to
that's what I'm
there,
trying. That's what.
and then just come over.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to figure out. Because even if I went there to the first spot, I'm on the rock somewhere.
I would still consider you to be on the rock somewhere. Absolutely. Okay, so you're gonna come up there. Okay, as you come up, the owlbear actually is gonna take some swings at you, since he had his attacks held. So he tries to bite you as you come around, and he misses. Swings a back-footed claw, but he gets you with that claw. Oh, but just barely. Not a lot of damage. Okay.
And
You hit. And crunches right in the back of the owlbear and breaks its spine and brings it to its meat into its knees and then on its side, and it groans and then just dies. All right. Surprisingly, your horses didn't really go too far. I mean, when the owlbear kind of hopped down, they kind of sauntered back along the trail a little ways, but surprisingly, not just far enough into those bushes and to chew on some foliage. So you easily get those back. And Evander will cast a Cure Wounds on Bogner. There we go.
All right, so we've killed the owlbear. You know, Nadia's not sure, but might as well take its head and its pelt and see if that's worth anything at all.
yeah, that sounds reasonable.
All right.
We should also see if it dragged anything back to its lair, which may be under that rock.
So give me a nature check. The head's fairly easy, but the pelt, let's see how well you do. Okay. I'll say that you've got a pelt that you can sell. It's not in pristine condition, since you don't really have you know a field knife for field dressing animals and whatnot. But between you guys, you got a sharp enough dagger and whatnot.
We just used Dalen's fancy longsword.
Yeah, surprisingly, it cuts, but it's really not for skinning.
It looks nice while doing it, but
But yeah, okay. So you guys have a here, and I'll just
Thanks, Dalen and Evander, for the heals. It's like, all right, time to move on.
so was the owlbear's lair in that place? It was under the rock, or can we tell?
well, it wasn't a lair. What you find there is some remains or ruins of some animal it was eating. A smaller animal, maybe a fox, a large fox, or I don't know, maybe a badger. You're not quite sure what it was, but that's what it was eating on.
Well, after we skin it, Nadia cuts off a big steak for Bogner.
Oh, owlbear steak.
Yeah.
Okay. It's
Sounds like something that needs a long, slow cook.
it's chewy. It's gamey.
Maybe.
It's and it's not chewy like rubbery. It's chewy like, if you ever had like a bull steak or something, it's just that very fibrous-y, hard muscle. It's very, very lean, not a lot of fat. It's uh, it's not tender, you know.
You know.
And you think to yourself, if you dried this out for trail rations, what you'd end up with is a dried salted rock that you just kind of lick or suck on.
But you might be able to make a dagger out of it.
If you could chip it, yeah, might work as a shank, like a 1 or 2 use shank. Okay. So you guys dispatch the owlbear, and then you progress along the trail further, and
And
set up camp for the night.
good night.
No
Yep.
issues that evening. I'll give you guys a long rest. Boop, there you go. And no, didn't take care of the tattoo. Shoot.
I wonder if it didn't take care of the tattoo because it was applied before you put that on it.
No, I removed it and then reapplied it. So I want to try something here. Let's instead of 1 day, let's change that out to
Long rest.
I'm going to change it to 8 hours. All right, and now we'll apply long rest and see what happens. Nope, still doesn't go away. So I think just when it's a super long time period, it just doesn't get rid of. I think anything at like an hour or greater, the combat tracker won't strip it. Okay, anyway. Let's see. You guys are going to continue traveling. Go ahead and give me another 2 rolls for a day and a night.
Whose turn?
It was me this time.
All right. All right. Your day travel was uneventful. What's that?
This is the like Dutch egg thingy.
Oh, a Scottish egg.
Yeah, it's been a bit overcooked though.
That's fine. All right. Nighttime, no issues. So give me a couple more.
Who?
You, Jerry.
All right.
Now, I'm assuming you guys are going to follow the trail instead of trying to cut across.
Yep.
All right. All right, Jeff, roll me a D4 plus 2. All right. So you guys will have an encounter. Let me try to get something here real quick. was just kind of seeing if I could find a quick map that we could get to something else, but you know what? Screw it. Trail's a trail. Let me roll a percentage die just to see. Okay.
I'm gonna read here real quick.
Moving everybody back to kind of where you guys were before, since that's your standard traveling procedure.
In open terrain.
Yep.
Sorry, we have to say everything.
You do. I mean, it's a good way to remind me as well as yourselves. You know what's going on.
Uh-oh. Orcs wanting some payback. They heard about the cave. So all of Logan's friends play Fortnite. Logan plays it here and there, but he's not like, doesn't care about it all that much. But he does love all the different dance emotes in the game. So just look up Take the L dance and you'll see the dance that he loves to do just to taunt people.
In real life or in the game?
In the
Well, he got it from the game, but he does that when he wants to taunt me when we're playing. Him and I are like trying to score on each other with the soccer. He does the Take the L dance to try to taunt me.
Nice.
I'm back.
Okay, everybody roll initiative.
Can you push the map back out? I'm not getting it to come back. Can I close
Even
it?
if you double click on your character sheet on the upper right.
Double clicking. I was doing everything else.
So Jim, I did see that when on that last thing with the moonbeam, we probably one of our player characters, would have taken damage as well for entering the spell's area of effect. So Bogner would have been climbing right up through Tertius's moonbeam.
Oh, I thought it was a shaft straight down. You're saying it's a shaft that directs from you?
Yes, it's a 40-foot high cylinder centered on a point within range until the spell. So it's not from me, but it's a cylinder. It's very much like Flaming Sphere.
Yeah, it
until the
comes
spell
straight down.
ends.
Yeah, it comes.
And it's 5
Right.
feet, right?
But if anybody enters that like radius,
Well, I'm going to say it's small, and you guys were able to
Okay.
avoid it.
okay. Just want to make sure when we go forward, you still want to be careful. It's not as big of a radius as the moonbeam is, but it's still
Yeah.
still something that you don't want
They
to walk
actually have
through.
to enter the moonbeam as opposed to the other one. You have to get within 5 feet of the sphere.
Here.
Correct.
Yeah. So I'll say it, no problem. But yeah, we'll keep track of that in the future.
I didn't know it until I was reading it, so
Okay, so
Okay, so
you guys come around a bend, just as some orcs come around another little bend, and
I have another
And,
question before you continue on.
okay, I was just gonna say they see
okay,
you and
I
you
was
see
just
them.
gonna say they see you and you see them.
So what's your
For a
question?
spell,
What's your question?
so I know you said you assume we're carrying our components, but as spells get more complex and you need more impressive components, are we going to need to like say, yes, I replenish my components at the in town, and are we going to have to then look for like special components like powdered diamond, or whatever?
Okay, so what I'll say is that um, for those spells that don't call out any kind of component, material component that has a value. So if it just says a scrap of paper, a feather, a pinch of spiderweb. Well, let's take moonbeam for instance, right?
Right?
I need a moon seed plant and an opalescent feldspar.
Right. Um, but it doesn't consume those. Otherwise, the spell would say it consumes it. So you have those, and so you don't have to replace them.
Okay.
They're always in your pouch. Uh, but let's say you get to higher level stuff like raised dead, right? Classic example, you need like a 1000 GP diamond. Well, in that case, yes, you're going to need a diamond that is worth 1000 gold. So,
Okay.
so if a
So
component
if a
doesn't have
component,
a value associated with, like 5 gold worth of dust or something, then you can just assume that your component pouch has it. If you have a spell that says it consumes the item, um, then we can kind of talk. But most of those are only valued components that have been given a value when it talks about consuming something.
I just wanted to make sure so that when we're going in, we're making sure we're gathering what we need before we go out on each adventure.
Right. All right.
All
all
right.
right.
So I'm first, huh?
Yep. You're first again.
You're first again.
And so from this distance, you said we see them, they see us. Are we able to see how they're armed?
Give me a perception check. Your guys' skills are just off the charts tonight. Uh, they each look like they have javelins over their shoulders, and they each have some sort of two-handed weapon, like a great axe, typically.
Okay. So I'm at 110. Oh, so, and is there any movement rate for me to dismount?
No, I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna take that. That's just part of the
That's
fight
just
for you
part
to
of
get off the
the
horse.
get off the horse.
Okay.
Especially because you can probably walk up and walk up.
I'm going to move there.
Okay. So you're
And
75 feet away.
Yep, I'm going to hit him with my short bow because that's an 8320.
Perfect.
I'm going to try.
You do. You succeed.
Then I'm going to move back there because I still have another 15 feet of movement.
All right, Evander.
I know that they may be able to close the distance. It's just one of those things.
All right, Evander's like, what the hell? What are you? Oh man! So he just now sees the orcs. Um, so he sits there and he who's he gonna give some inspiration to? Yeah, probably Bogner again. So, beer, 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 bitterly beer, 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 as he tosses it up.
Much better song for his inspiration for Wagner.
Yes, yes. All right, Orc 12. Um, it looked like he was actually
so is
going
that
to
an
take.
actual
he's
action?
actually-
Is Bardic Inspiration an action or a bonus action?
It's a bonus action.
So could he hold his attack if these guys try to close?
He could.
Okay, I was just curious.
Yep. But I just didn't think about it as a player, so he just said, "I'm
No
just
worries. This is
just,
more for
I'm
me understanding how the bard works.
sure." So held actions, bonus actions, actions. I mean, all that's roughly the same. So the only, like you said, is a bardic inspiration is that a bonus action. Yes. So
So could he have a bonus action and then have a held action?
I've been doing it that way, and I've been reluctant to go and read any rules. So I'd say yes.
Okay, thank you.
All right. So the orc, actually, as you stepped up and drew your bow, he was like about ready to dash off into the brush. Let's see, does he still intend to do that now that you've shot him? Yep, yes he does. You guys are out. There's more of you than there are of them.
Well, that we know of.
Yep, that you know of. And he runs over there and disappears. So while the trail is fairly open, you don't. It's not too far off that you can get back into the woods and
Woods and
disappear.
Gotcha.
All right, Orc 11. Yeah, he does the same thing. All right, Bogner. Perhaps your guys' reputation has preceded you.
Could be.
Perhaps these
Bogner.
orcs are just cowards.
Wagner is going to ride his horse up to here and dismount.
For our reputation who have preceded us, they need to recognize us. I guess Tertius would be a good clue.
Yeah, you got a dwarf, a dragonborn, some humans.
Danlin's going to do the same thing. I'll ride my horse up there and dismount.
Who's
Okay.
human?
okay.
Evander is.
Evan,
Okay. A human.
Yeah, sure. Because you guys are what,
Humanoids.
elf and half elf. All right, the other orc also runs off. Sorry, I didn't mean to move Tertius.
Oh, that's all right. Okay, Tertius. You moved him a lot further than he can actually move.
Well, he's on his horse. He can go 60 feet on his horse.
Yeah, but I'm not going to keep on my horse because I know that this is a nag.
All right, so he hops off and moves 20 feet. So we'll speed things up and say you hop off, and by the time you guys get around, you can see that the orcs have
The
fled.
orcs are nowhere. They're nowhere to be seen.
Yeah. And
All right. So
while you probably could close the gap, you won't do it on horseback, and
yeah.
yeah, be better off just letting him go.
So we're going to mount up, and we're actually going to increase our pace for the next, however long of the, this day's journey, just to make sure that they aren't going to get help and try to come back around at us.
Okay, so you are at a faster rate. you will definitely get to Phandalin by nightfall. And your horses and everything will be able to rest so that they won't get any exhaustion or anything.
That's perfect.
So give me one roll and see if you encounter anything.
Encounter.
Jeff.
You do not. All right. So you guys make it back to Phandalin. You bring your orc head to the.
Oh, can we get a Phandalin map again?
Sure.
What time do we make it back to Phandalin at?
It's evening, so it's dinner time, basically.
Basically.
So before we do anything, I think we've been on the road. We're probably just gonna go straight to the inn and check in, get ourselves a meal, rooms. We'll deal with shit in the morning.
Okay. Toblin's there as you step in, and he's as friendly as ever. He's like, "Oh, hey, the heroes of Phandalin! Welcome back, welcome back. Food,
Not
rooms."
Nadia grins and says, "Food and rooms. Is there a hero's discount?"
Oh, of course, of course. Come on in. Dinner's on the house and half price on the rooms.
All right, so we'll get rooms for each of us. Obviously, we'll have the dinner, and then I'm sure Bogner and Nadia will be down drinking.
Sure. So
Don't know about the rest.
a silver. So take a silver off of each of your sheets for the evening room, and
Evening
Can you
room
just
and
take it off of the party sheet?
yeah, I'll do that. I'll take 5 silver off.
Because we have this party one that we're not really
Yep.
each
Yep.
usually using.
I remember now.
I actually like that better.
Yeah, I've got some other parties that don't do that yet, and I'm trying to see if they'll sign on for that.
I mean,
sign up.
I
Or
get
more
when we
social.
well, when we get to a certain point, I get that we want to go ahead and maybe apply it. But Nadia as a whole is not going to carry around, a couple hundred gold pieces. It's just going to weight her down. I'll throw them over into Bogner's bag of holding, and that's kind of what we're doing anyway.
Okay. I'm going to assume that you leave the owlbear head and the orc heads and the outside somewhere, because they
No.
stink.
Because they stink.
No, Nadia's not trusting. She's not a trusting soul. So she'll bring them up to her room if there's a problem, the innkeeper can tell her, and then she'll ask where she can put them where they're
Let me do a perception
not
check.
gonna
See
work.
if Toblin. I'm going to say it's been quite a while. They're really, really rank.
like a few days.
No, he can smell. He's like, good Lord, what is in that sack?
Heads.
You got to take that out. That no.
Where can we put this that nobody's gonna mess with it? Got to deliver this stuff to the mayor or the whatever that guy's name is.
Oh, the town master.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, that coward. You guys call a ruler here.
He's like, well, we can put it in the hayloft of the stable, I guess. I don't know who would mess with that. That is awful.
All right, so we'll put it in the hayloft.
Okay. So you made Toblin happy that he doesn't have to burn his inn down to get rid of the stink.
Well, and he's now a witness that we had it, and it's in the hayloft. So if somebody messes with it, we have witnesses.
That you brought in a very stinky sack, yes.
No, I'll show him. I'll show him the heads and everything.
Oh, okay. So you tell him what it is.
so you tell me what it is.
He doesn't want to
He
look,
doesn't.
but he takes you for your word because that just smells like something's rotting, and if you've had a head for a week in the bag, then yeah.
Well, the orc has been a week, but the owlbear's only been 3 days. Not even 3 days. It's only been a day.
Yeah. Okay. So you guys have a good night.
We
You guys
drink,
have a good.
we party, we get our rest.
Yep. I will pass another long rest to everybody. Boom. There we go.
All right. So we've got several things we need to do in the morning. Well, first thing, because Nadia's not all that happy about dragging around these stinky heads either, but we're going to go ahead and I think the first thing we want to do is go deliver this stuff to the town master, or can't even remember what you call him.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. So sure enough, you
Sure
bring
enough.
the orc heads to the town master.
Orc, ogre, and Kate or owlbear. Right? Because we
Yep.
had the ogre
Yep.
from the cave, the orc, the biggest orc, and
Absolutely.
then
Absolutely.
the owlbear.
So for the orcs, he says, "Wow, this is great news. We're not going to see any more orc raiders. This is outstanding. Where were they at?" And asked you some details, and I assume you guys let him know where the tour was roughly, and
Absolutely, we'll walk him through all that stuff and tell him, here's what we found, here's what we experienced. If he wants, we can even tell him how we dealt with the menace.
and he's much more confident now that the red brands have been taken care of. He seems to act more like a town master would act, somebody of some authority. So it sounds like maybe he feels like he can actually make some decisions that people might actually follow along. And he nods and he says, "Oh, this is outstanding." And he pulls out a sack and gives you guys, here's your reward. It's 100 gold. It's what we set aside for the bounty for these orcs. The owlbear.
Yeah, I'll bet.
Let me go ahead and delete the orc notes if there's no other reason for us to have them.
Go ahead. And
All right, so continue on with the owlbear.
he's like, I don't know anybody here who does taxidermy, but all right. It's nice to know that there's one less wild animal out there, especially one of these. They could be right nasty.
Okay, and that's fine. That's kind of what I expected. I'll throw the head away, but we'll still see if we can find anybody to buy the hide.
Okay, I mean, some dogs really enjoy the fact that you tossed an owlbear head out back. They're kind of wrestling and fighting over it as they kind of rip into it a little bit.
Unless you, Dalen or Bogner, you guys have any reason why we want to try to go sell the owlbear? It's just kind of a thing. Sometimes the town master will go, "Oh, well, hey, that might have been great. That could have caused us problems. Let's give you another 5 gold." But if that's not the case, toss it out.
The town master had no interest in paying you.
Well, no, I was asking Dalen if he had any interest in keeping it for any other reason.
No, I don't have any other reason. Although I have decided you're rather mercenary for someone who doesn't want to carry gold around with them.
I'm not carrying it. I'm just killing shit.
Yeah, it's really kind of all in Bogner's
No,
bag of holding, right?
It's the whole Nadia wouldn't carry the gold around with him, but is keeping all this stuff in case we can get gold for it.
Well, we're showing the townspeople that
No, I know. I just found that dichotomy kind of entertaining.
it is entertaining.
She wants to get paid, and then she'll just leave the gold behind.
She doesn't even want to get paid. I think it's more of a recognition thing. So while 5 gold or whatnot in her purse sounds like, that's what she's out for. No, it's not really that. She's more of out for recognition. Hey, look at what we just did for you guys.
All right.
Okay, so we did that. So now let's go ahead and talk to
Sister Gray,
I was gonna say, as you come out of the townmaster's hall, you see Sister Garael, and she sees you guys come up, and she's like, "Oh, thank the heavens! What did you talk to the banshee and did she listen to you? Did she take the comb?"
So we'll probably let Dalen talk. So Dalen, you can tell me if I'm going to say anything that you wouldn't say, but we'll go ahead and tell her, the story of we met the Agatha. We gave her the comb. She did that stuff. She told us the information, and she told us that.
Well, is Dalen gonna talk?
Well, that's what I'm going to ask. Do
Okay.
you want to talk?
Okay.
Yeah,
Dalen?
I'll talk, but do we have the notes on that?
We do. So if you look at Nadia's notes, it's the first two things. Sister Gariel asked us, but then it says what the Agatha told us.
I was looking down later for that. Okay. So yeah, we'll tell her that Agatha said she traded the book of the necromancer named Cernoth from the city of Erebor more than 100 years ago, but she doesn't know what became of it afterwards.
Ah, blessed Tynora. Definitely the goddess of luck and fortune was with you. Well, that will definitely be useful for my fellows. And I believe I promised you some potions of healing. And she kind of hustles off to a little cabin just to the west. And she comes back and she hands you guys 3 vials. And so she gives you 3 potions of healing. I'll put those in the party sheet so you now have 4.
Okay.
She says,
So,
thank you, and may Tynora's blessing be with each of you.
so just before she heads off, before we finish this encounter, it's like, is there anything else we can do to help you with this?
She says, no, I mean, unless, and she looks over at Dalen, says, unless you're open for what we discussed before. You've been most helpful. If I need to call upon you, I will, but this was a great boon for me. Thank you so much.
Okay. I don't know what they discussed, so I'm going to delete those notes about Sister Gariel. So
I don't know what we discussed either, unless it was with that other group.
Well,
Yeah,
you guys, you wouldn't have added notes to my thing, so you'd have had to keep your own notes on that.
Right, but I don't remember talking to her specifically. I remember talking to the adventurer who wanted me to join his group, and I don't remember her being part of that, but that doesn't mean she wasn't part of that.
I might have had it confused.
I might have had it
Channel real
confused.
quick. You can go talk if you want in another channel real quick to do that if you want.
Only if Dalen wishes to pursue it.
Yeah, let's. I'll just clarify if this is what I think you were referring to, or if I somehow forgotten the.
Okay, hop down into the Fantasy Grounds channel. So I remember you talking to the guy that you rescued, Sildar.
Right.
And he offered to bring you in. And I thought Sister Grael had also offered to bring you into the Harpers, which is a different group. And if she hasn't, then I must have. Maybe she just didn't see it at the time.
Yeah, I don't remember that. I only remember the first group. I thought I had a note of that, but I don't remember where I put that note.
Okay, well then maybe she didn't. Maybe she thought she wanted to ask you, but didn't. So we'll just say that you have no clue what she's talking about, because that makes
The
sense.
Lord's Alliance was the other one, right?
Right, I think so.
Yeah, that's the one I have a note on.
Okay, so maybe she just thought she had talked to you and forgot, but you
Okay.
have no idea what she's talking about. Okay.
So from that, after that discussion, after she makes an offer, I'm gonna call her on it. It's like I don't remember talking about anything separate from the group before.
To her as she walks
Yes.
off,
Yeah.
and she goes, "Oh, well, never you mind then. I must have forgotten."
All right, sorry, I walked away for a moment. Anything that I need to know?
No.
Okay. So the next thing that we want to do is we want to go talk to Doran again, Doran Edermath. And so
Alright,
Doran, he
over
had
in the
talked about the
orchards. Mm-hmm.
Yep, in the orchard. He had talked to us about that there were prospectors in the Northeast Hills. They had kind of gone missing, and he was hoping that we could go kind of investigate that.
Sure. So as you come up to his place, he's tending his orchards. You know, he's kind of taking some fruit out of some trees, filling up a basket. He hails you and asks you how your travels were.
Well, we hail him back. We how have you been, Doran?
Um, Picking fruit. It's a nice life. It's great to be retired. How things with you?
Nadia kind of laughs a little bit under her breath. Well, we found the situation at Old Alwell not to to our liking, but we've dealt with it. We didn't find any of the miners. Matter of fact, we think that they may have been turned into zombies.
Oh, so the rumors of undead was true then.
Definitely true. We found a wizard who was creating undead. He was a red wizard of Thay. He was trying to find artifacts of power in the location.
And you dealt with the undead and the red wizard?
Absolutely. Isn't that what us adventurers do? And kind of throws him a wink.
So he gives you a chuckle, very in similar kind to what you had provided earlier, and he goes, "I, that it is, that it is." And he says, "If any of you want to come and talk to me later, um, I may have an offer for you for upstanding adventurers that decide to hold up order and honor and be vigilant against these type of, well, let's say, unclean forces out in the world."
Well, Nadia will, cock an eyebrow and say, "What's later?"
Oh, come on around tonight.
Sure, we've got a few more errands we need to do. I have no problem. And looks at the rest of the party. You guys wanna come over to tonight to I can't remember his name. I already deleted my notes.
Darren Edermath.
Darren, you guys want to come over and maybe share a little bit of ale? I remember the ale.
Yeah, I'm up for that.
All right, so we tell Darren we're gonna come back.
He
And I
nods
think
and thanks you and goes back to picking fruit.
all right, so I think our last thing that we have to do in town for sure is we need to go back to the armorer.
Back to the lion shield coster.
Yeah, it was.
Yes.
Yeah, it was. Almost a general store more than anything else.
Lion Shield Coster is actually what it's called. There was a general store somewhere, but it wasn't this place.
Oh,
The Lion
okay.
Shield Coster.
Barthen's Provisions is the general store that you're thinking of.
Yeah, and there wasn't really anything for us there, but that's where we need to try to go take the pelt.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. Now it's coming back to me.
So we'll go back to the Lion's Shield Coster and check in, and hopefully we've got a couple of sets of armor.
Yeah, so you guys come in, and let's see. All right. As you come in, Lenine sees you. She comes around from the back, and she's like, "Oh, you're back. Well, I wasn't sure if you're ever coming to return. In fact, I was almost going to send these back." And she motions you to kind of a side table back in the back where you see these like thick blankets over this table, and she pulls them off, and you can see that there's, you know, two brand new, not ornate, but definitely solid functional sets of armor.
I bet Wagner's is the short one.
Let's see. So you guys got what? Let's see. So what did you order from her?
2 sets of full plate, or no, plate mail. Right.
Was it plate mail or was it full plate?
There's no such thing as full plate in this version, so it's just plate.
Plate mail. So we had said, and I had just said armor from Meat Shield. It was plate mail.
Yeah,
Okay.
plate armor is what I have written.
Well, then I will drop some plate. All right. There are 2 sets of plate in the party sheet, so you can just grab the shield and drag it into your inventory.
And so then, Galen, unless you have some other reason for it, I would probably sell your current armor.
Oh yeah, I was planning that.
Okay. She'll give you half price.
Just because it's a little beat up after our recent travels.
Yeah, it's pretty good beat up.
Even after we tell her tales of our exploits. Did they get the dicker?
Well, the tails won't get me any more money for it. I mean, you're gaining a nice reputation here, but nobody here is going to buy that chain.
I don't know why I'm the one dickering, because I don't care from a money perspective, and it's not my armor that's trying to be sold.
Right.
As Bogner and Dalen put their old armor up there, Nadia goes up and kind of runs her hands over the old armor.
She'll give you 40 gold,
chuckles.
slightly more than half. She'll give you 40 gold for each chain. She says, well, for the heroes of Phandalin, I guess. So Bogner and Dalen can add 40 gold to their inventory. And you guys prepaid, right? I believe.
We prepaid out of the party group, out of the party GP.
Yeah,
So
I just soon put 80 back in the party because it's one thing to update.
Okay, done.
And then I just have to delete these, I assume, right?
Yes. You can right click over them and say delete, yes, confirm delete, or you can go to the bottom of the inventory sheet and hit the edit list, and then it'll give you a red dot and you can delete it that way.
All right, got it.
So is there anything we need to do here at her armor shop? Does she do weapons too?
She does.
So I mean, if we needed to replenish arrows or anything like that, that's where we want to be.
Yep.
So do we have anything we need to replenish, guys? Or
Evander's like, absolutely. I need 6 arrows. So that's
crossbow
So
bolts,
that's-
right? He needs bolts.
yeah, he needs bolts.
Yep.
That's right. There's still a copper
There's
piece.
still a time.
Right. So go ahead and replenish his bolts at a copper apiece. Nadia, same thing. She needs to
5
replenish.
copper, excuse
Oh,
me.
5 cop.
She needs to replenish 4 arrows. And Nadia is going to see if this chick wants to buy the 50 darts she has. 48 darts. If
She
she wants to
says
buy the
She
48,
says,
she'll do a simple trade. So 10 darts for the mix of bolts and arrows, and then she'll buy another 20 darts.
sure. So Nadia is going to get rid of all the darts. She's not using them. It's just stuff that's adding to my inventory. So
Okay.
how do I do?
okay,
Just change the number.
just change the.
Well, but off of my action.
Oh, just change the ammo number.
All right. So real quick here, let's go ahead. Darts. Okay, so I can change the dart number to 0, or can I just delete the whole line?
If you're trying to get rid of them, you can delete the whole
You
line.
can do.
All right, I deleted the whole line. So then I go to actions, and the whole line's gone. Perfect. All right, that's what I wanted. So I've got this extra quarterstaff too. Any interest in the quarterstaff?
Let's see.
Let's see.
So you hold it up. It's just,
So
Kind of a
stout
regular
oaken
quarterstaff.
staff. Yep, it's not anything special, just stout oaken staff.
she's like, nah. I can go to any tree around here and get myself another one of them. But
Nadia, a
Yeah.
little bit, but all right. You can have it anyway. So Nadia will just give her the quarterstaff.
she takes it and okay.
I'm just trying to make my inventory more usable.
Yep. Sometimes it gets like that.
All right, I'm good. So we've done everything we want to do there. The only other thing I think we want to do before we go back and talk to Darren is I do want to talk about the guy that's here that's part of the Lord's Alliance and see if there's any other information. Because we had Iarno, we had the betrayal. Just want to see if there's anything else we might learn from that guy if he's still in town. Don't
Sildar.
remember.
Sildar?
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, Sildar.
Okay. So you guys head back to the Townmaster's Hall. You're asking around for Sildar. And actually, by this time, after you've kind of walked around, it's become known that you've come back. So Sildar is actually walking up towards the Townmaster's Hall and sees you as you guys are walking out from across the street in the coster, heading back to the Townmaster. And so he actually
Oh,
catches up to you outside.
Outside.
Hopefully he's looking better.
He is. He's recovering. I mean, he's not ready to go taken on the world again anytime soon yet, but he's not near death anymore. You know, but he definitely carries himself a lot better, and he looks like he could probably take a hit or two before he goes down. But he's, when you're beat to an inch of your life repeatedly over a couple days, that takes a toll on you.
Well, we'll tell him, we'll hail him. We'll mention the fact that he's looking much stronger. Looks like he might be able to take on the owlbear that we dispatched. And, we'll see if there's anything he might want to talk to us about. We do mention the fact that, Iarno, is there anything came from that? Anything that you might want to share with us.
And he says, "Oh yeah, well, Iarno, he's been taken away. Some of my fellows from the Lord's Alliance showed up here just probably 4 days ago, and took him away. It's really kind of funny. He seemed to think that that he was maybe going to get rescued or something. I don't know. It wasn't until we had dropped a silent spell on him and bound his hands and stuck him up in the wagon and closed it that I think it finally dawned on him that he's going to jail."
Well, and we'll share a little bit with Iarno about, about with Sildar about what we've been up to, and so maybe we disrupted the rescue plans.
Maybe. But you came across some more goblins out in the wild? That's outstanding. And do you tell him everything that you found out?
Yeah, we start talking to him. He seems to be a pretty open guy, so we'll tell him about the orc cave. We'll tell him about the night encounters that traveling encounters that we've had. And if he's interested in the other things, which don't really seem to be all that pertinent to his situation, we can even tell him about the Old Owl Well.
Okay. So he says that, and then he says, you figure out where the Cragmaw Castle is? We still need to figure out where those goblins are raiding from.
Well, we can share with
Yes, we kind of figured. We at least figured out the general area it's in.
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah.
Well, that's outstanding
That's
news.
outstanding.
Yeah. So we'll share with him the notes the notes I have is, it's 1 to 1.5 days into the Neverwinter Woods, but it's north of Phandalin.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, my cohorts came down, and I've been given instructions to work with you guys, or, well, anybody else really, but you seem to be the most capable at the moment, by far, really. If you can go to this Castle Cragmaw and eliminate the tribe's chieftain, or at least drive him off, then there's a pretty hefty reward for that from the Lord's Alliance. And I can think of no better party here that is as capable as you.
Nadia, out of earshot of Sildar, will say, "We're going there anyway. We want to figure this out. They're sending people after us. You guys want to ask him for anything? You want to ask what this great, reward would be, or So she confers. What do you guys think?"
So we should talk to him about what. Are there anything specific we should be looking for? Do they have any preconceived ideas on what's up there, things to worry about, things beyond what's obvious that we should look for?
And Nadia will mention, as well as, what does he needs to work with us mean? What does that mean? You know, is he going to come along with us? Is he providing backing? Is he, you know, what does that mean?
Okay. Um, so
So
he's
after we've discussed that, we'll go ahead and have a discussion with Sildar, and we'll ask him those questions. We'll say that stuff. And Dalen, you actually have another aspect of that. I think that he made you an offer as well. So, you know, that might be
all right.
another discussion.
So
we need to
so
have.
Dalen, what do you want to breach with him first?
First, just with Cragmar Castle, what beyond the obvious goblins are they worried might be up there? What should we keep our eyes open for?
That we don't know. If we knew that, we'd probably have known the location, and probably have already mustered a force and raided it. But we know there's a chieftain for the goblins there, and well, I assume it's not a goblin. It's probably something bigger, larger.
It's a bugbear, according to a goblin we talked to.
That would make sense.
Nadia will pipe up. Well, now that you know this, why don't you just summon your cohorts and send them on up?
True, I could. Be a couple weeks though for us to get a group of people big enough to raid. If it's where you say it is, I mean, you can get there in 3 days, 4 maybe, traveling light. It'd be at least a week and a half, 2, before we can get a message back to Waterdeep and bring people over and handle it all.
Okay. So while Dalen's talking, Nadia's kind of just pacing the perimeter.
No, and I meant Neverwinter, not Waterdeep.
That's fine. I get it. You got some place you got to travel from.
Yeah, but no, I'm still in no shape to really go out and fight. Sadly, I'm still recovering. I feel much better, and I could probably handle a goblin or two, but I'm not sure I'd be much use to you beyond that.
Okay.
So what kind of help can you provide?
Me, nothing. But the reward, it's 500 gold if you can drive them off, drive them out of the castle.
So Nadia will kind of look over, kind of askance, and again, she's new. She's chaotic neutral. She doesn't care about gold, but she'll be like, "So, you're saying that you guys would deal with this, but it might take you a couple of weeks. You got to send off to Neverwinter. You're going to bring up a platoon, or however many people you think need to deal with this,
At least.
and that they're going to come up. They're going to have to bring all their provisions, and they're going to be doing all of that kind of stuff. And that for our time, 5 of us, it's going to cost 500 gold. You'll provide 500 gold. Yeah, granted, we're going to get the treasure and all that stuff, but a platoon?" And then she just kind of walks off. She just raises an eyebrow and kind of walks off.
You can give me a history check to see if you know what a platoon is for them.
Well, a platoon is kind of a standard amount, so I think everybody should know
Modern military, sure.
I gave you a history check, but
Yeah.
I mean, when I think of a platoon,
Poor choice of
if
words.
you're talking about army warfare, you should, regardless of the time, you should know what a platoon is. You should know what a squad is. You should know what
Yeah, it'd be a squad basically.
Maybe he meant spittoon.
Spittoon.
She's just trying to rile him up. See what he's willing to how far he's willing to go.
Oh, he's a veteran, so he's like, hey, and it's not his money. It's like I've been given 500 gold.
And
I've got 500 gold.
Any healing potions lying around we can take with us?
Not that he has, no.
Okay.
In fact,
So
he
Nadia's
didn't even
off.
know
She
about
can't
even
hear
know
any
Sister
more
Grails.
conversation.
Sister Grey.
Hmm?
So Nadia's wandered off. She can't hear any other conversation. She's kind of like, whatever.
Okay. And so you'd look over at Bogner and Dalen if they're both still here. And he looks at Dalen and says, you know, I'm pretty sure that you could join us if you wish, based on your accolades that you've accomplished so far. But clear out the castle, and I'd say that title we were talking about is all but assured. And I have no doubt we could extend it to your fellows here. And he looks at Bogner. And if Bogner asks, he'd say, yeah, it's an offer to join the Lord's Alliance. To help secure local towns and just general civilization.
And Wagner's first reaction, of course, is going to be, I'm not sure I want to be in a group because the group might then have requirements on me. So
Yep.
I think both of us still want to hold off on joining it primarily because of that. Do we want the responsibilities that go with it? Or at least the required responsibilities?
Well, and when you said fellows, are you considering the rest of the party as well?
That's what it sounded like to me.
I just want to make sure it's not just Galen and Bogner, but the whole party. Evander, Tertius, Nadia.
Well, Dalen or Bogner can give me an insight check. Because he is playing a little coy.
That's why I'm asking. Although Nadia's walked away, maybe I shouldn't ask.
You get the sense that not everybody in your party is included. And you could probably guess, who would be one of those that's not included, just based on today's interaction.
The one that walked away.
Right.
Well, it's a Lord's Alliance. They're probably sexist.
It might be.
It's not even that. Nadia is just not really trusting of any of these alliances. They all have ulterior motives.
Yeah,
Oh,
well,
and
you're spot on
keep-
with Bogner. In fact, he's much less eloquent in telling Sildar that he has no interest.
right. It doesn't sound like the kind of thing Wagner would do either. So, well, if I was with a different group, it might be interesting. Right now, I'm working with this party, and I'm not planning to just leave them because something else came along.
He says, "Oh,
says,
sure,
"Oh."
sure. I mean, we'd give you a title, and we'd probably contact you from time to time, but I don't see why we couldn't let you continue to roam and do what you do. But you know where I am, or you can find me in Neverwinter. After probably a couple more weeks, I'll travel back there."
So, Dalen, I'm assuming you're going to share this conversation with Nadia after she's walked off.
Oh yeah,
Make sure that Wagner, Tertius, Evander, we all know it.
right. With Wagner in front of it, and with the whole way it was presented, I would share with the whole group.
So, what are they contacting? These are notes for you. I'm not going to write them down.
Oh,
I mean,
right.
what are they going to contact us about? What are the responsibilities they're expecting of, that kind of stuff? We haven't seen anything, at least, I mean, you may have, but the rest of the group, we have no idea what this means from the group perspective.
Okay, well, let me give you, let's see here. Lord's Alliance. So, his kind of rough spiel with the Lord's Alliance is their goals are to ensure the safety and prosperity of cities and other settlements across Faerun. They want to maintain a strong coalition against any forces of disorder, proactively eliminate threats to the established powers, and bring honor and glory to one's leader and one's homeland. And, they firmly believe that um, if civilization is to survive and thrive, all must unite against any dark forces that threaten it, and that you need to fight for that protection.
So they're very altruistic, at least in their tenets.
Um, yes. I mean, they're not looking for a payout, although they do have um, agreements with
Altruism
cities
makes
and
payout.
whatnot. They do have benefactors that help to provide. I wouldn't necessarily say an income, but upkeep for the Lord's Alliance. Um, they all seem to be fairly highly trained, um, but they're not necessarily individually out looking for fame or money.
Gotcha. So, again, if we have this conversation, whenever we do, between our party, not Nadia's thing would be what is it really that they're looking for? I mean, what do we get? What's this title? What do they think that does for us? Why would they want to give us a title?
So there's 5 known ranks that he kind of talked to you about, and you'd be a cloak. So you'd just be, an entry level person, entry level member. So they find you, give you missions, and ask you to carry them out. That may range anything from fact finding to clearing a goblin tribe out of a
Well, no,
fortification.
this wasn't really. This was more questions to Dale and Nadia feels that they're not dealing with Nadia, they're not, or Wagner or anybody else in the party. They're really approaching Dalen,
Right.
and we're just kind of ancillary figures because we're part of Dalen's party. So these are questions to Dalen.
Yep, and he wasn't providing this info, so I'm feeding it to you guys through him.
Well, I didn't expect you to feed it. I actually expected Dalen to kind of like take these things, and he needs to now meet with Sildar or whoever
Okay.
and ask these questions. So this is kind of my RP, and I may not have done it very well. But so we've met with Sildar. He's kind of mentioned these things, but Nadia is sitting there talking. And again, this is based on her wisdom. She's not necessarily an intelligent individual, although her intelligence isn't bad. But her wisdom is like, okay, what are they looking for? What is it that they want from us? What are the So these are all these questions, and these are to Dalen, especially as we start talking about this offer will extend to your current companions. You get all that, Jeff?
I'm writing it down. Or at least I'm writing some notes down. Yeah, my plan was he mainly said if we clear Cragnot Castle, I'm almost guaranteed of being offered or given a title or whatever. And I'm basically saying, yeah, the group comes first, so we'll clear the castle, and if they offer us the title, it gives us some time between now and then to discuss between ourselves this. So I guess this is that discussion that we're having that we need more information on.
Well, and so another question of Nadia is, if you want to write this down, what kind of enemies does this bring us? If we become part of the Lord's Alliance, who's going to be out for us? I think it's a legitimate question.
Yeah.
All right, so we've shared all this information. Even we'll even I think we have no problem. We think Sildar's a decent dude. I at least from my perspective.
Yeah, that's been my assumption.
We will share with him the information we found on the Black Spider. That Black Spider sent the bugbears to help Iarno keep the population of Phandalin under control. The Red Bands managed without them. The Bug Lab, that the bugbears tell us about Echo Cave, but not much more than that. We know that the Black Spider is a drow. So we share the different information that we know about that, as well as the fact that the drow was trying to capture the two dwarves that had initially sent us to Phandalin.
Okay. So he
So-
nods and says, well, that's good news. That we know a little bit more. Just that definitely reinforces my feelings about you guys. And he definitely says, does this mean you guys are going to try to take out the chieftain?
Yeah, I never really liked bugs.
Well, I walked away, so I can't respond to that. So I've already walked away from the conversation.
Is there anything else you asked him specifically, Dalen?
No, I can't think of anything specific right now. Outside of the Nadia questions, which I'm not going to ask right now.
Well, no, because those questions weren't to him; they were to you.
Right.
So if we're done with him, we're going to go back and talk to the orchard guy. But I need to use the restroom first, so I'll be right back.
All right.
All right, I'm back. Am I the only one back?
No, I'm here.
All right. So Jimmy's gone though. So I'm down to just only a few notes. I don't know if you've got my notes up or not, but I've only got a few left.
You still have twice as many as I do.
Well, most of what I've got has come from just copying something Jim put in the chat window.
Yeah, I know. Most of what I've written down during your discussion on the questions you're going to have.
My tirade.
Yes. I mean, I did have 4 lines on the household itself because you can probably see my notes also because under notes there's the Silvestri household. I just started throwing them down beneath that.
Oh, your notes are much less paragraphal.
Yes,
I don't know that that's a word.
it is now.
So Orcs to the East we've done. So you might want to be able, you could probably remove that. You could probably remove Red Brands.
I did remove that. It probably hasn't updated. Right now,
Oh,
below
okay.
the little 3 dashed lines, I just have Phandalin and Kragnarok Castle.
All
Yeah.
right. Hey, Jimmy.
All right, so I'm back. So we have probably quite a bit. Let me pull this over. And let me pull this over. Yeah. So now that you're in town, I am fine with giving you guys some XP award.
Okay.
So
So you want to do that?
Just
And then we're also going to go to talk to the orchard guy.
Okay. So if you want to talk, do you guys want to talk to the orchard guy first? Then we can do that first.
Doesn't matter. Is that going to give us more XP or is that?
No, it's just RP.
just RP.
Then just give us the XP. We'll do that. And then we'll go talk to the orchard guy.
Okay. Well, you'll probably level.
Well, I
Yeah.
know I'm going to level because
Yeah.
you told me that last week.
Yeah. So everybody should level except for Tertius.
Right. And so then I needed to ask you, how are we doing the feats or the level 4, abilities? One of the two.
Right. So before we get into that, and we'll take that offline from our recording on the stream. So if you want, let's go ahead and finish up an RP with
Yeah, let's
header
talk to
math.
the
Header
orchard.
math?
Yeah, let's talk to the orchard dude.
Okay. So it's evening. It's around dinner time. You guys approach Darren's
Yeah.
home, and again he greets you and comes in and he's actually prepared. You know, he's got a nice spread. He cooked a couple birds. Not sure what kind of fowls they are, but they smell great. He's got some of his fresh fruit out, cut and sliced for you guys to eat, which is really kind of almost a delicacy. You know, if you're not growing the fruit, you may not have access to it. He's got some ale that he brought over from Barthen's Provisions, so you definitely have some decent grub to have while you're talking. And he actually looks at each of you, the entire party. I'm assuming you all show up, and he says, you guys are definitely of the right stock, and he's a member of the Order of the Gauntlet. He says if you guys are interested, he could definitely put in a good word for you and have you all join. And you'd each be given the title of a cheval. The Order could definitely use people like you.
So Nadia will be the first one to say, well, what does that mean? We've got people asking us to join them left and right. It seems like right now, and she'll go into the fact that she of the discussion that we've had with Sildar about the Lord's Alliance.
She's like, oh, well, I mean, nothing against them, and being civil and diplomatic, and that's always good, but you know sometimes you just have to roll up your sleeves and get in there. Sometimes our faith is the greatest weapon we have against evil, and faith in ourselves and our friends and you know those above us all.
Okay. I mean,
But
right off the bat, I mean, Nadia feels a better affinity to this guy that's like out in the orchard just doing his thing and whatnot, just because that's kind of more her style than a lord kind of situation. But so
Wagner's probably the same, unless it's an apple orchard and he just makes cider instead of beer.
well, but I mean, what would this mean to us? She's looking to see how open and honest Darren is going to be with him. What does that really mean? What are you asking us? What is this going to entail from us? Are you going to be asking us to like go out on these on missions? Are you going to be asking us to put aside our ideals for something that needs to be done? All these those are the kind of questions that Nadia is going to initially ask.
right. He says, well, I would hope that our ideals would be your ideals. We should always be armed and vigilant against evil to take the fight to them. Identify those evil threats, especially, secret groups or anything that's inherently evil, and enforce justice and retribution against those evil actions. But can't go and just strike willy-nilly, just because something thinks evil thoughts. We can't make a move on them. We have to wait until they actually do an evil deed. But, work together, and then once an evil act has been accomplished, we punish it severely so it can never happen again. But, battling evil is hard. It needs extraordinary strength and bravery, which I think you all have shown. But in terms of what it would mean, well, yeah, there may be times when we need to call upon your skills and services. Ask you to go and visit an area and see if there's evil afoot. Assess what evil may lie, and then dispense justice as necessary. Maybe you find out that there's no evil, and the just thing to do is to not do anything.
So not after we've had this conversation, and so Nadia is the again, she's chaotic neutral. So neutral, there's aspects of evil. I mean, there are definitely some things about the evil side that are disturbing, but going too far the other direction is also disturbing.
Right.
And
So
So-
you get a sense that this Order of the Gauntlet, they're a very dedicated, tightly knit group. They're all fairly like-minded individuals, and they either all have a very finely honed sense of justice, or they're very faith-oriented.
Okay, so they're not necessarily good aligned. I mean, that
No,
doesn't-
they are.
No, they are.
In fact, they're more lawful. I mean, they are the Order of the Gauntlet, right?
Gauntlet.
So they're
So
they're probably
they're-
lawful good. You should get that kind of sense.
So I'm
in
chaotic,
general.
but I'm definitely Nadia is definitely chaotic. She's more nature based. What suits her mood at the time. But at the same time, she again being neutral, she sees the balance. So from a Nadia perspective, so what if I don't? And she'll ask this question directly to Darren because he seems to be more open than our dealings with Sildar. He's very straightforward, it seems like. And she'll ask, What if I don't agree with the direction of the order? You asked me to do X, and I did. When I look at it, I don't agree that X is what needs to be done.
Well, as long as you weren't pursuing an evil act, we would just rescind your rank, and you would no longer you'd be cast out of the order.
Would you pursue me? Would there be other things? Would you be trying? Would you determine that I am now an enemy?
Should you do no evil, no, there'd be no reason for us to pursue you.
Okay. So Nadia will just like kind of mull that stuff over. She's not going to make a determination right now. But so that's the end of Nadia's interaction. She's going to enjoy the ale. She's going to enjoy the camaraderie with Darren, who's an old adventurer. But she's not going to discuss anything more until we discuss it internal to the group.
Okay. Dalen, you or Bogner or anybody?
No, I'm with the same thing. This is more of we're a group right now, and so the group needs to come first, and we need to discuss this as a group.
Yeah. Evander just kind of outright says, well, I can't speak for my fellows, but for myself, this is not for me. I have my own path that I need to eventually follow, and I'm not sure I can sign up for that kind of obligation. So he kind of politely but formally, says no. And he takes
Did
it
he just say
well.
the other thing, the Lord's Alliance? Just out of curiosity.
Who did what?
So did Evander kind of say the same thing for the Lord's Alliance, or did he only say that for this one?
I don't. So I guess if you guys all brought up the whole Lord's Alliance thing, he's
Well, we
more.
brought it up at least enough to know that I asked Dalen a bunch of questions because I'm not the person that Sildar was like trying to interact with.
Yeah, Evander would have. He likes the Lord's Alliance a little more. It's less religiously, I guess, but it is very militarily bent and political. Evander being, having been around courtiers, understands that a little bit more. But
I was
again,
trying
he's
to
not.
feel if
he's
he's
not-
got the same response for both of them. It's
Yeah,
like,
in
Yeah,
general,
in
he
my
does.
path.
He does.
okay.
I mean, he likes the Lord's Alliance better, but again, he wasn't offered anything directly for that. But still would have. He'd still turn it down.
Okay. So Dalen, Bogner, anything else you wish to ask?
No, I don't know anything to ask.
So Tertius would ask only the one thing. So how would your organization work with a non-humanoid type individual? Is that any issue?
I'm doing a
Tertius is
quick
chaotic.
think.
But
Yeah.
Yeah.
he's more aligned with each of these than like the Bogners or the Nadias.
Yeah, he says no. It's not so much about your race. We have, elves and dwarves and dragonkin and halflings, the occasional gnome, although even amongst gnomes they can be kind of odd, but no, no restrictions on that. Um, if it's made known that Tertius is a druid, would he mention anything like that, or?
I don't know that that would be an outright just something to be mentioned.
Right.
Right.
I mean, it's not like I'm going to come up and say I'm a monk or I'm a fighter. So I don't think that's a classification. I mean, it may be something that comes up that he's nature based.
Yeah, I mean he can see that he doesn't have any metal armor, but he could be a rogue. He could be a spell. He's obviously probably a spellcaster.
Could be a ranger.
Could be a ranger. Could be a wizard, warlock, sorcerer. I mean, Darren's an adventurer. He's been around, so he kind of can guess a little bit what people's skills are based on their equipment and how they carry themselves. You know, but he doesn't know anything other than that.
Okay. Well, I mean, Tertius would not be adverse to either of the orders. It sounds like um, it'd probably be, just who does he like more? He is still chaotic. He's good, but it's who puts forth the better argument. And I don't know that you can be a group that I don't know that you can belong to two orders. Probably
Yeah,
not
Yeah.
easily.
probably not easily. Yeah.
Nadia, she's just more bent towards the Darren's group, but she's not necessarily in anybody's group. She's got that wanderlust. She's not like necessarily looking for somebody to come out and just give her tasks.
Yep. So, and Darren understands. He's like, well, if you change your mind, trees aren't going anywhere, and the fruit still needs to be picked.
Yeah, and that was just like those two. So I don't know how Dalen or Bogner would respond either. I mean, obviously Evander already said not. It's not in his path.
Yeah. So in general, Lord's Alliance is more lawful, or sometimes neutral alignments. Um, the Order of Gauntlet is typically more lawful good. But you have some flavors. Um, Chaotic neutral is probably not going to do very well in the Order of the Gauntlet.
Or in the Lord's Alliance.
Probably not, right? Because again, you're going to be structured. Hey, you need to go do this. Well, I don't want to go do that.
Good.
I got other shit going on. Exactly.
Right. Now, those who are neutral good, yeah, maybe. Depends on each personality.
Well, Tertius is chaotic good. Nadia is chaotic neutral. Bogner is chaotic neutral. I don't remember what Dalen is.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
so those three are probably not interested.
Evander's not interested. I don't know what his alignment is. So
Yeah, he's neutral good, but he's got other things he needs to go do, and he doesn't want to be tied down to somebody else's stuff.
see, Nadia's chaotic nature is more in the it's on the battlefield. So, yeah, it can be other places, but mostly you'll see it on the battlefield.
Right.
Like the whole like goblin that Kevin just like killed while he was like tied up. I would have done a roll. Do I kill him? Do I let him go?
Yeah.
And actually, Kevin wasn't the one that killed him. It was Jeff, but
I don't know. Seemed to work. All right, Jeff, do you have any
Jeff?
last questions? Or are you good?
I'm good.
All right. All right. Well, you guys finish
Yeah,
your
well, you
evening
guys-
meal. You each, have several drinks. He actually pulls out a pipe for anybody, wants to smoke some tobacco or leaves, and it's quite nice. But after an hour and a half or so, he sets the plates aside and he kind of sits up and he says, "It's gonna be an early morning, so if you don't mind, I'm gonna usher you out the door and bid you all good night."
No worries. We head back to the inn where we've got our rooms set up, and we'll look for XP.
Okay. So with that, we'll end the session just a hair early tonight, and then we'll dole out XP and we'll work on leveling. Anybody out there? Thanks for watching. This is the end of episode 21. Hopefully next time they'll come out and go after the Cragmont Castle.
So